All right. Hey, everybody. This is Royal with Paternity University. I'm here with Luz Tejada. She has been a virtual assistant for me since July of last year
Yes.
for Assurance DNA. And then now she helps me with my new business venture. So, Luz, would you like to introduce yourself to the people?
Yes, thank you so much for that introduction. So, like Royal says, my name is Luz, and I've been working with him since June from last year. So we're gonna have like 9 months. We have pretty much
Yep.
working together so far. It's been really great. I have been working as a BA since April from last year, so he was one of my first clients pretty much. And now we are transitioning from making inbound calls. That's one of the things that I used to do for him first for Assurance DNA. Now I'm working on making cold calls for him for any lab test now.
Okay. Perfect. Luz, what made you want to get started in the virtual assistant industry?
That actually is a really funny story because in the beginning, I was just looking, trying to change jobs to working something more from home. But then by Google, pretty much I found the term virtual assistant. Then that's when I got to meet the industry, and I was like, you know what, maybe this is what I need to do. This is my call. I saw how many great things a virtual assistant can do. Also the flexibility and how changing it is. Like it's not the same job that you get to do every day. There's always, for in my case, I feel like there's always any adventure. So I was like, you know what, let's go for it. And here I am.
And here you are. It has been multiple adventures with Assurance DNA for
Yes, it's
sure.
true. It's been
Learning.
different tasks, which I love,
Yeah.
different things to do, different approach to the clients. There's been a different of everything, which is something I love about Assurance DNA.
Okay. Okay. Good. So, how did you eventually, find me? How did you come across Assurance DNA?
As I can remember, it was through somebody else, the online business manager. Her name is Jennifer.
Hmm.
So I saw first the post on Facebook, and I'll be honest, when I applied, I was like, I don't see myself. Not because I couldn't do it. It's more because there's so many people applying for the same position. It's like applying for a job. So many
Hmm.
candidates, so many people that, they can have the same quality like me. And that was the last thing on my mind. And then when I first saw the email from Jennifer and also you, Royal, telling me that they would like to meet me and they like my portfolio, I was like, oh, great, finally,
Yeah.
finally, a good call. And here I am.
Look at that. Look at that. How was the, the training, the initial part of working with me and Jennifer? How was that like? Because you're your own independent contractor, you're your own business, right? And so at any point in
Mhm.
time, if you don't like the way that a client is doing something, or if you don't really, the training is not good enough, you could just say, hey, this is not working, and you can go about your own way, right? So
Yeah,
what
that's
was
true.
that process like, the initial part of learning what Assurance DNA does, and then eventually helping us with our inbound calls?
Well, in the beginning, I was really nervous because when I first heard the term that working with DNA testing, I never worked on that before, never. So for me, DNA is just something that we have in our body and that's it. So, but with the training and also until this day, I can tell that DNA is way bigger than that. And an approach that I like since the beginning, one of the things that I first remember that you, Royal, told me was like, I don't sell. I don't like to sell. I like to offer solutions to my customers.
Mm.
It's the first time that I ever heard a business owner saying something like that. Because normally they just, yeah, we need to sell, we need to sell. And I get it. I mean, selling, it's more income, the business is growing. But when you said that part, oh no, I like to offer a solution, in the beginning, I'm like, how is it offer a solution? I mean, it's positive or negative, like how big of a solution it is.
Hmm.
But when I get to see the behind the meaning of that, like giving the peace of mind, helping them find the answer, helping them to find that solution that they were looking for, that's something that I like because Assurance DNA, it became more than just giving you a DNA testing, it's giving you, like I said before, that peace of mind that you're looking for. And that's something that I personally love. In the beginning, like I said, it was hard because I never knew the term, but the more I was in that, the more I like it until now.
Yeah. No, and I'll say this, you have been great working to work with completely. I mean, actually great. You're a professional. Now, there were, maybe I'm kind of hinting at something right now, but we can it's more of a conversation as well. But over time, right, you got very good at the calls, right? Very good at the calls, incoming calls, and learning how to answer them. And then you really showed me your value, as your client and as the business owner, you showed me your value by really learning very well how to outsource and how to send the emails, how to even send results, how to check the portal, stuff like that. So what is the importance of making yourself as a virtual assistant valuable to your client? How important is that?
Well, I have this saying, that's something I learned, that for me, a virtual assistant is just more than somebody independent contractor you just hire to do the job and that's it. Because let's be real, anybody could do that.
Hmm.
But I feel like with me, it's more like you're getting a babysitter. Why? Because that business of yours is your baby. You're taking care of that. You're making it grow like a you will love to see your baby grow. And that's what I like to be at. Like you see me as a right hand, as a that you know that okay, my business is being taken care of by Luz. I know this is gonna be right. I know that she's gonna help me to get my business where it needs to be. So it was a challenge, but the more that you get to know the business and also the business owners are as well as the clients that get approached to the business, you understand more and more the needs that they have. Um, also what they don't need, how you can help them even more. It's just start to come like more naturally.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it's really good. It's really amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And you've been an absolutely massive help. So I would say this, Luz, and I think I want to tell everybody, right? I don't think publicly a lot of people know this stuff. I've said it to my students, but I think you and Jennifer might be the only two virtual assistants in the country, maybe, that know how to properly solve paternity testing problems for people. Like you've been trained in DNA testing.
Yeah.
No other like so you have a lot of value. You have a lot of knowledge in what to do. And so I know that at some point in the near future you're going to roll out a program in an ebook that talks about that of how to make
Yes.
yourself valuable to a DNA agency owner. Can you kind of go over the top points, what makes it so, what how do you make yourself valuable specifically to a DNA agency on just your top points real quick, if you don't mind.
Well, it's because DNA testing in general, some people might think that it's just because they need to find out who's the father or not.
Hmm.
But I've been learning that it's more than that. There's been so many cases with assurance DNA that I don't even know where to start. So being the father of a child, yes or no, that's one of the many cases that it can happen.
Hmm.
So many ways that you can help the other person. And I noticed that industry, it's bigger than you would think. People that was okay, anywhere can go to find out who's the father or not. But let me tell you something. Of all the labs that we have, and I'm not talking about DNA specifics, more like medical labs in general.
Hmm.
Not all of them they offer DNA services,
Hmm.
unless that is for the medical necessity.
Hmm.
So, and there's a lot of people, like thousands of people right now, who knows, maybe a million daily, that they get into a situation that, oh, I need a DNA testing because of, I don't know, because legal reasons, because I need to find out, or because of birth certificate reasons, child support, whatever the reason it is, it's way bigger than anybody could imagine.
Is bigger than what people see on
Yes,
Mari, right? It's bigger than the drama on Mari. Paternity court actually goes more. Paternity court is drama, but it also goes into the reasons as to why they're getting this, like legal reasons usually. And so what Luz is saying, y'all, is that the market for this is actually big. And as more people become DNA agency owners, you all and you want to scale and grow and step away from answering the phone and doing all the minute tasks so you can focus on marketing and building relationships. VAs are going to
Exactly.
be needed.
So you can focus more on the bigger picture of the business, while us virtual assistants we handle more the customer service, the admin, the email management, the appointments, even social media. If you want to approach to
Mhm.
social media too, even virtual assistant we could do that for you. So in that way, like Roy, you said just said now that as a business owner, you can focus more in creating maybe a better strategy for your business,
Yep.
creating bigger relationship with other owners, and who knows, maybe expanding to have a partner for your business, or marketing yourself even in a way that besides, as a business owner, I understand that you need to wear multiple hats.
Mhm.
Why would you need to wear one more hat being an admin when you can hire a virtual assistant that can do that for you? She can be that hat, or he too. He or she can be that
Mhm.
hat for you while you wear the other hats. And also, you can have your mind more clear and have better ideas so you can make your business grow.
Yep, that is exactly right. And I want to say something to everybody watching, right? Of what Luz and Jennifer too. I definitely Jennifer Geedy was my first virtual assistant for sure.
Yeah,
She she basically trained Luz on how to do this. Me and her both, right? But I want to let you guys know on a daily basis what Luz was doing when calls, when calls were really coming in and business was really popping, right? This is from A to Z what she was doing. Meanwhile, I'm full-time military working at my military job. So number one, this is what Luz would do. And Luz, you can chime in whenever you want. The phone would ring, she would answer it. Okay. She would answer all the person's questions based on the script that I gave her and we trained her on in that training. By the way, Luz gets the exact same training that my students get in Paternity University. Actually, probably even better because she's representing my business. All right. So she knows what to do. So Luz would answer the calls, right? Yeah, people may not buy on the first call. Got it. Let's say somebody wants to buy. They will call back or they will call and say, I'm ready to buy. Luz, what would you do? You send what? Invoice, right?
I send them the invoice by email. And
Yep.
then once we receive the payment confirmation, I used to call them right away, even before I call you, or
Yep.
I tell the where they need to go to the coordinators. Oh yeah, this is the appointments that we have available, and this blah blah. And sometimes even they ask you more questions when you call them, or they call you the second or third time than they did on the first time.
Yep.
Like like um like what? Oh my God! I have so many cases in my head that I
So
don't know
many,
what
yeah.
to
It's
start.
too many to name. It's too
Yeah,
many to name. Uh, and so she's handling that while I'm either at work. At that time, it was just I was at work. Like it just is what it is, and I can't answer all. I'm in meetings and stuff like that. So she's fielding a lot of that stuff. She sends out the invoice when the client pays. She confirms payment. She sets up the appointment. She calls, either the place that we would normally work with, or even if it's in a new area, she would find the place, based on my
yeah,
recommendation. Here's where you're going to send them. She would coordinate with that place right there. That's another thing that she would do. Okay. Hey, this person's going to come in. Do you have kits on hand? She would create a case number so it aligns to my account, my DNA account, do all that. And then the person goes there, then the results come and she would send out the results or I would send out the results, whatever. And that's what she was trained to do. And she does it very well. And quite frankly, I think Luz, you're at this point where you can teach others how to do that as well. And
yes,
you can do it in Spanish too, because you speak
yes.
Spanish
Because
as
you'd be
well.
surprised how many people they call in Spanish,
Yep.
asking, especially when I felt the struggle. Sometimes, some of them they were able to speak Spanish. Some of them they were speaking other language. But the one with the Spanish, they felt this relief, like, oh my God, finally somebody that I can
Yeah.
speak to. I even remember one lady that she called, and she told me that she's crying out of happiness because she called like 4 DNA testing before, and none of
Mm.
them they were speaking Spanish.
Oh
So
wow.
when she finally reached out to us, and she heard like, oh, it's in Spanish, I'm so glad. I've been struggling with this situation that I'm going through for almost a month.
Mm.
Finally, somebody that can understand me more. It was such a relief for her, and I feel so glad personally
Mm.
because I knew that I was helping her.
That's good. And that's what I'm saying. Like it's not trying to do a hard sell to folks. it's helping them, it's consulting, it's trying to figure out a
Yes.
solution to their problem. And just something as simple as that, right? Being able to answer in Spanish and talk to them makes a world of difference for a lot of people. And so, that's why and me personally, if even if I hire more VAs or lose, you're in charge of hiring, seeking out other VAs just like Jennifer, they all got to be bilingual. They all have to
Yeah,
be
because
bilingual.
it's so huge the how many people they need you when
Yeah.
in also in Spanish.
Yeah. Good, good, good. So Luz, wrapping up, what do you see in the well, actually not sort of kind of wrapping up, but we're doing a new venture now, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
we've switched from you doing assurance DNA inbound stuff, okay, to now you're an independent contractor for I'm going to say Southwest Lab Services, all right, doing business at any lab test now, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Independent contractor. And what do you do now for me now that I have a different business venture and it's a completely different thing? What are you doing now?
I'm making now calls. Well, first research about what kind of calls I need to do in general, where we need to go, and then after I do my research, then make I make phone calls
Yep.
instead of waiting for the inbound calls. I make outbound calls.
Yep.
Yeah,
Outbound. Yep.
outbound calls so we can find potential partners to help us with the business too. That's what I'm
Yes.
doing right now, letting you know, hey, there's a potential here where you can send that on information, or maybe you can get an interview with them or a meeting, so we can find a better business opportunity for your new adventure.
Yes. So now, Luz, we are both of us actually, because quite frankly, I don't enjoy doing outbound calling. I don't enjoy it, but I actually realized that I'm actually pretty good at it yesterday. Like when I sent you the recordings, you're like, this is pretty good. I don't like doing that though. But anyway, you're switching now to something that is a little bit different than before. With the inbound calls, you kind of know what to expect. With the outbound calls, it's a lot of like, yeah, okay, or hey, we do this already, or leave me alone, or whatever. So it's kind of like, but how important is it for a VA to to be able to pivot, to be able to change what that VA can do based on the business owner? Like me as the if I come to you and say, "Hey, Luz, I don't need you to do this no more. I need you to do this now." How important is it to be able to switch?
Um, I think from 1 to 10, I would say a 20. Because
There you
as
go.
a virtual assistant, you need to have, at least in what I believe, you need to have a very open mind that any task can be changed anytime at the moment. Just because they're calls, but what kind of calls are we talking about? That's one
Mm-hmm.
thing. Also, to be open to receive new training always, because you're learning something new, even if they're still related. And now with the outbound calls, I feel like a big, huge difference that you need to learn how to improve more.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the inbound, you, like you said before, you know what you expect. You know what they're gonna contact you. But when the outbound calls, that you are the one that need to lead the conversation, that you need to, I wouldn't say guess, but it's just expect everything that they can ask you, not for
Mm-hmm.
something specifically. So you need to be ready for that, and also know how to adapt to, because it's a huge um I was not a, no, I wouldn't say like a huge task, but it's like something completely different. So, and because they're both different, you will need to learn more how to, yeah, pretty much how to change from one thing to another one, and then switch and know what answer. Also to listen more,
Yeah.
because the questions they're gonna change so much outbound calls in change of the inbound calls, because the inbound calls they can ask you sometimes the same thing but different ways, but at the end it's just the same question.
Yep.
With the outbound calls, they ask you so many things and any of the questions are related. So
Yep.
you need to be ready for all the scenarios that you can, but at the same time be ready for the scenarios that you can imagine. And I feel like that's the tricky part.
And also, you like I said, you're pivoting. We're no longer at this point, right? We're not calling to sell paternity testing services to other businesses. This is something. It's an adjacent industry, but it's medical. So we're calling
Hmm.
medical offices now. Different thing. You're talking to that. that initial assistant, you're talking to that coordinator, we're not even at the office manager level yet. We're just talking to the gatekeeper, the initial person that receives the
Yes.
call. And you have what, I wouldn't even say 2 minutes. You don't have a full 2 minutes. You got like 10 seconds to make a
To
decent
call their
impression.
attention.
Yep, to get their
Yep.
attention and to make that impression. That's a whole different process of selling than inbound, completely different. So you have to learn how to adjust. And like you said, Luz, we're me and the employee at Southwest Lab Services is we're honing in on that better training program. You've received feedback, you've gotten training even from her on how she
Yes.
calls. And so you're learning, and then even on your own, if you're not now, and this is to everybody, definitely YouTube University it. How to be better at outbound sales calls, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's an important thing. So this shows how versatile loses y'all in knowing how to pivot and adjust and say, okay, how can I meet my client's needs? Because if the client doesn't see a need for you anymore, you are out of work.
That is true.
You are out of work.
That is true. That's why a virtual assistant, they need to know, I will say, how to do a little bit of everything, or have that open mind of, okay, I don't know how to do this, but at least let me learn so I can help you even more.
Yep, at the very least. Wrapping up, Luz, do you have any other things that you want to say? Like I said, you're going to come out with the ebook pretty soon about this industry. But is there anything else that you want to tell the people, either about yourself or about this future product that you're going to put out?
Yes. So this product, this ebook that I'm gonna get, at least that I'm making for you guys, it's something really simple so that they can understand more what is a virtual assistant, because I know that not everybody knows what it is, how to get one, how to have a good relationship with them, and also what things do they need to look for the DNA industry.
Mm,
Because I know that there's different kinds of virtual assistant. It's like kind of going to the doctor. Yeah, I need a doctor, but for what?
yep.
For it's for a pediatrician, or for my brain, for my heart, for my lungs. So in your case, as a DNA testing owner, a paternity owner, what kind of virtual assistant do you need? Do you need one for just for marketing? Do you need one for admin? One for social media? So in that way you can know the difference and get to know what is the one that your business needs, because that's the more important thing. And also to let them know to always, especially if you're new with virtual assistant, to not be afraid of.
Mm,
The best part about virtual assistant coming from a business owner is that if you feel like the relationship is not going well for any other reason, it's not like firing an employee. This is totally different. They just end the contract, and then you get to know another person. So maybe the next person is gonna be better for your business. So that's because so many people they're afraid of that, and I'm like, no, that's completely different than hiring an employee.
yeah, that is you guys are independent contractors. I went through three virtual assistants, four, I think, before, including Jennifer. Like we went through like multiple. Me and Jennifer, I think, hired or brought on like three before we found you. And so yeah, they determined that they weren't the right fit or we weren't the right fit for them, and then vice versa as well. And so, they can go on about their ways. So look, everybody, Luz is going to come out with this product specifically tailored towards the DNA industry. There's also going to be stuff within it, generally that how you could find a general virtual assistant for anything else. But this one is probably going to be the first one for the DNA industry
Yes, this is
in
one. It's
existence.
a specifically for DNA industry, because
Yeah.
there's plenty ebooks for how you to hire a virtual assistant, which is great. But the one that I'm making is a specifically for the paternity university business.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Luz, thank you so much. What is your website? If people want to look into you for you, just what is your website in general where they can find you?
Oh, they can find me in two ways: in the website virtualassistant.com, and also on social media and Instagram at virtual assistant Luz. That's the way to contact me. You can send me a DM, or also you can schedule a free call with me, a 30-minute call that we can talk about how can I help you, what is the kind of business that you have, and also what are you looking for in a VA.
Awesome. I'm going to post that into the notes in this YouTube video. So thank you, Luz. so much for dropping by for this conversation. And to everybody, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, share with anybody that you may know that
In
may
the
look
bottom
to.
below.
Yeah, at the bottom, yeah, hit that little bar below.
Yes,
I'm not as fancy with my other videos. I'm straight up just like this, so I'm not gonna have all the, I may not have all the graphics. Unless, Luz, you want to learn how to do YouTube graphics and thumbnails, and that's something else that you can do for me. There you go.
of course, you already know. I'm always here.
There you go. So thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. And until next time.